So if you go way back to the early 90s, when I was in elementary school and later in the 2000s when I graduated, never even once did I consider that I would end up in the field of sales or leadership or anything like that. So if you imagine that 50-pound geeky boy with the cut hair with a little ponytail, and every time I had to read a poem in front of the classroom or something, sometimes I got nosebleeds because I was so scared and afraid of talking in public. My face would always turn red. So yeah, like sales, not for me. But then, as I got older, I got a little bit more confidence. I was at least able to speak to people, right? Of all the great, things I would be doing back in my home country in Estonia, I ended up playing a lot of games, computer games over the summer. I actually made money like that, so it was the first serious money I made in my life playing computer games.
You got to pause for a second. How did you make money playing video games?
It was not poker or anything. It was this new kind of concept that was like an online world. In-game money was convertible to actual money and vice versa.
Wow.
First couple of years of college, I made, I think, $20,000 or $30,000, which back in that time was a lot.
Well, anytime if you're just you're still in school and doing this, part time,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
I didn't do anything smart with that money. I bought myself a really rad car, extra added lights and chameleon color, and it's very stupid.
So you knew maybe being a financial advisor was not your path.
I was good at following a plan. Experience is valuable, and it makes sense to listen to somebody who has done well at what you want to do. I had a plan that I would do everything 100%. I was worried that if I do things my way, and I do crappily, I have to blame myself, and I didn't want to do that, right? So it actually worked out great because, work like crazy, do your demos in sales, all of those things. And I did everything by the book exactly. And I actually ended up being number one first year from Europe that year.
That's fantastic. That also does positive things for your confidence in this arena of sales and working with people, right? To know that you could follow a
Yeah.
system and be the best.
So it taught me that communication, being good with people, it is not something that you either have or you don't, that it's some sort of magic skill. But if you practice it, you get better and you lose the fear.
So how do we define Southwestern Ventures today?
The dream is to, in about 10, 15, 20 years, kind of build like a mini Southwestern family of companies, but in Europe. So we are like a little collection of divisions or companies. It's very simple. We sell things. We sell insurance, accident insurance and life insurance, and this different product with an investment portion. We do fundraising. We sell a smart connected smoke alarms, but that's not our main product. Our main product really is a cool career. Career is almost like a dirty word on social media in the past 10, 15 years, but I believe there is great value in building something. So the idea of ventures is that you are not tied to a specific partner or a product. All you are tied to is the values we have and the methods we do things. So you don't need to invent anything. There is a method to everything, and there is a manual to everything, right? So it is your job to use it to the best of your skill. And now in the last 5 years, I found myself many times in a situation where there is no manual. All you have is kind of the idea or the direction where you want to push it to, and then you start not from zero, but you start from like 25% instead of from 75% complete. We have done things in stupid ways, and we have changed that. We have this running joke that whenever we feel that, aha, finally we have it, like whether it's a compensation plan or whatever that we have finished now, big changes are just around the corner. you don't need to reinvent everything just because it feels cool or looks cool or sounds different. So the pendulum can swing too far, right? The challenge sometimes also has been that how to make sure that the core things are the same. Having good goals and clarity is important, right? Doing good and consistent self-talk and self-motivation is important. It is easy to not understand what makes you successful at something. People tend to think that what makes you successful is the fancy stuff. It's this my special joke or my special clothes I have, whatever it is. And it is my job to remind them that on average, what makes you good is doing the basics. When you are young, when you are in your early 20s, there's this common feeling that by the time you are 30 or 35, your life should be complete. The truth is, when you are 35, you have probably had 15 good years where you're actually productive and creative and adding value to society. And people live to like 90 or 100 now. 35, you have 45 more years to go. That's a hell of a long time. So sometimes it's a challenge to sell the idea of thinking and planning longer than 6 months ahead or 1 year ahead.
Of course.
Because especially in sales, people run into this trouble that they don't like being uncomfortable. The first 6 months are hard. There's this feeling that it must be the wrong thing I'm doing. Most of the times it can be the right thing. Just need to go through the uncomfortable part, right?
And learn.
Have enough patience and learn. I think success to me means a trend, because everything is relative, right? You can have $1 billion and feel super bad because somebody has more. I don't need, X amount of money or house that has, that kind of square footage or whatever, but it is the trend. So as long as I am getting slightly more, let's say, wealthy every year, I'm really happy about that. As long as my health, I'm always doing something, to improve it, I feel happy about it. And the good thing is that a trend can be small, right? It can be just, 1, 2, 3% every month or year or whatever it is. And to have that small positive trend, it just comes down to those, little habits. And luckily, those are controllable. Those are absolutely controllable.
It's making the little progress every time. I love it. Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
If you enjoy this podcast, please make sure to subscribe. And to stay updated on everything that the Action Catalyst is up to, make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Action Catalyst Podcast and on Twitter at Catalyst_Action. And thanks for listening.